Hey guys, gwyned here. Today I'm bringing you a Standard Pauper deck covering Crummy Dummy's 4-color pulse control deck that took first place in MPDC 3404. Today I'm doing something a little bit different. Rather than just showing me playing the deck, instead I'm going to bring you the finals of that particular event. I will be on the bottom, and I will be playing a red-green tokens deck that took first place the week before. And on top, Crummy Dummy will be playing his 4-color pulse control. So I hope you enjoy the match. Let's get started. All right, and we are off. He leads with an Evolving Wilds. It's a 4-color deck, so obviously he's going to need to use that quite a bit in order to hit all the land drops he needs. I also drop an Evolving Wilds. We're both going to, of course, search for it right away. So he opens with an Elvish Visionary, pretty standard opening. Anytime you're playing one of these green decks, one of your best turn 2 plays can be an Elvish Visionary. Definitely a very good play for him. And I'm actually going to follow suit with my own Elvish Visionary, which my opponent's going to offer to trade. I decline the trade, thinking I am probably the beatdown, and then he plays his 3rd color. So this is mostly Jund, but it also splashes for blue as well. So it's definitely an interesting kind of mesh up of colors, as you will see. So here I just pass the turn holding up, if I remember, I had Fiery Temper that I was holding up here. He's just going to continue to swing in with his Elvish Visionary. Pretty standard. Plays the 4th land drop. And then here's going to drop a Primal Druid, which is definitely a somewhat of an unusual card. This is the first deck I've seen playing this. But it's a great sacrifice target because you get an 0/3 that can do a little bit of blocking, and then when it dies, it immediately replaces itself with a basic land card, which if you can get value out of sacrificing is obviously a very good thing for you. Also does a good job of holding back my Elvish Visionary. So I find my 4th land drop, and we go ahead and get a Scion Summoner onto the board. But unfortunately, none of these creatures are able to attack, which obviously is good for him. He immediately has a dead weight to get rid of my Scion Summoner, and it's going to continue to swing in with the Visionary. Here I'm going to go ahead and block with my Scion, and just pass the turn back at this point. Let's see, and then, I'm sorry, it's his turn, right. So he's going to go ahead and lead here with an Eyeless Watcher. Another really powerful sacrifice outlet, gives you lots of mana, and obviously if you're planning on playing any of the emerged creatures, this is just the perfect body to do that. So on my turn, I am playing a Tormenting Voice and going to use the Fiery Temper here to get rid of his Primal Druid, just because it starts letting me attack. He goes ahead and fetches his island, so he now has all his colors, but for now I'm going to hold back the Visionary. He's going to swing in with everything here, and I'm going to block the Eyeless Watcher, just trying to get that off the board, realizing he probably has an Emerged deck going, and that's going to be a really good thing for him. He does have another Primal Druid, though. Has a Mortuary Mire that's going to let him flash back his Eyeless Watcher, or I suppose not technically flash it back, but put it on top of his library. And he goes ahead and casts the Wretched Gryff as well, sacrificing his Primal Druid. Drawing a card, getting another land. He's got the other strict color requirement this deck has is that it requires 2 red because it is playing Rolling Thunder. So that's why he has. It's not just splashing for 1 red; it actually needs both red in order to really. I think that's the only red card that it's playing. So needs both of those to do anything. Here I'm going to get Impact Tremors out. But unfortunately, at this point, that's all I'm able to do. My opponent's beating me down here for 5. And see, this is one of the things this deck can do. Is just put you on a really fast clock. He also then has a Vulturous Haven, get rid of one of his Scions, draw 2 more cards, and play his Eyeless Watcher. So definitely, very quickly, has put me in a lot of pressure here. I am going to go ahead and cast a removal spell to get rid of the Aven. But unfortunately, at this point, that is all I'm able to do. Don't have any good sacrifice outlets. So pretty much just stuck here, and my opponent's obviously beating me down very quickly, and here he has a Rolling Thunder to finish me off. So that is how that game went. I'll be back in a minute for the next game. All right, I am back for game 2 of the Standard Pauper deck tech, showing off Crummy Dummy's 4-color pulse control deck. This was the finals in MPDC 3404. My opponent, Crummy Dummy, won game 1, and here we are for the next game. Let's get started. So I do choose to play first and mulligan down to keep my 5, and obviously I'm already way on the back foot here. I am able to get a Dragon Fodder down, which is a nice way to have a little bit of option against him, trying to just prevent the beatdown. My opponent does have a nice Primal Druid. Here I'm going to go ahead and just immediately try to get rid of it, trying to be aggressive, allow him to find his 3rd land, but it lets me swing in for 2. And I think at this point I'm just thinking I need to be as aggressive as possible. Play the Elvish Visionary here. Unfortunately, I'm looking for a 4th land and don't find it, but I am able to swing in with the 2 Goblin tokens. He declines to block, has another Primal Druid. Cast. I'm going to go ahead and swing in with everything here. Obviously, he'll block 1 with the Primal Druid, and just take 1, dropping him to 15. But obviously, he's already got a pretty good defense against my particular, what I'm trying to do here. Get a Scion Summoner onto the board, gives me another token. My opponent has a Bloodbriar. This is another thing this deck is doing, is that it's able to get really good value out of the Bloodbriar, simply because not only can it sacrifice these Scions, but it can sacrifice the Primal Druid or the Eyeless Watcher to its Emerge cards. It also is able to even sacrifice the Evolving Wilds to get value out of them. So the Bloodbriar here is a really smart inclusion. I'm going to go ahead and cast Tormenting Voice here, and my opponent's able to negate that and doing so sacrifices 1 of his tokens. So not only negates my spell, keeping me from drawing anything else, kind of sticking me on the 3 lands that I'm at, but also is able to make me waste the card I sacrificed. Definitely just a really good play for him. And definitely at this point has me totally tied down. Is able to play Boiling Earth, get rid of all my tokens. And at this point, there's just not much I'm able to do. I am able to go ahead and find a 4th land, but it's going to be too little too late here. Don't have any good way of blocking the Bloodbriar, and he's just, even with only 4 lands, is able to just put an enormous amount of pressure on me, is able to use Pulse and flash back another card. And at this point, even though I am able, even though I'm finally starting to be able to do something, it's just too little too late. That my opponent has a Vulture Saven, sacrificing another Scion. No, I'm sorry, there he sacrificed a Primal Druid. Makes sense. That's one of the things this deck really needs to watch out for, is it needs to be sacrificing those Druids as rapidly as possible just to continue to build its land. It's got such strict mana requirements that that's a really important thing for him to do. And just continue to swing in with this Bloodbriar. I am going to go ahead and Pulse here. Lets me get back an Elvish Visionary. Get a little more of a life total, but I'm just so far behind here that it's going to be difficult. Opponent has yet another Elvish Visionary. Back on my turn, drop my 3rd Elvish Visionary into play. But there's just not a lot that I'm going to be able to do against that kind of board. Opponent is continuing to drop creatures, swinging for 2 in the air, 4 in the ground, has another Bloodbriar. And at this point, I'm realizing that there's just not anything I'm going to be able to do. Even has a 2nd negate to get rid of my Impact Trimmers. And he's able to continue to swing both with the Bloodbriar. I'm forced to triple block here just to try to get some kind of value at it, even knowing that my opponent could very easily have creatures. And what I didn't realize here when I did this is that he is able to sacrifice the Evolving Wilds to pump that up. It's actually a really dumb block on my part because he can also just pump it up using the Eldrazi Scions, so lose everything, and at that point I just wisely go ahead and concede. So you can see it's a very powerful deck. It's able to get a lot of value. It actually, because of the Primal Druids, is able to get the color requirements fed pretty easily, able to build up a lot of value using these Blood Briars, whether it be sacrificing the Eldrazi Scion or the sacrifice effects from the Vulture's Haven, just a lot of things that are going on. It's a very difficult deck to play, but one that is definitely gives a lot of very interesting game states, a lot of very interesting decisions, and I encourage you to check it out. Thanks so much for watching.
In closing, let me remind you, you can keep up with all my writings and articles by following me on Twitter at the username gwyned42. That's GWYNED and the number 42. I also regularly publish articles over at puremtgo.com. Search for me by the username gwyned on that site, or find the link in the description of this video. I also maintain a blog now at writeradept.blogspot.com, and you can also find that in the description. Finally, if you enjoyed these videos, please remember to subscribe to my channel and post any feedback or comments. Thanks for watching.